What is up, guys? The news is out. Your girl is pregnant. Thank you so much for everyone who left me over 50,000 likes and comments on my pregnancy announcement post. I did put up some stories. I said, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to say to me, please feel free to reach out. And you did. And I got lots of messages, about 500 congratulations messages. Thank you, by the way. And lots and lots and lots of questions. So in this video, I will run through the majority of all the questions, because there's a ton, of what you guys want to know. How far along I am? Am I going to give birth in a hospital, or do I have a midwife? What are the names? What's the gender? And if you can see my belly. So in this video, you're going to see and hear it all. And before I forget, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and also turn on the notification bell. One of the first questions I got, one from JBoogie619, who said, I'm thinking about holding off for a bit. Did you have challenges? How did you check your fertility? Fifi Kova's response, I'm still waiting to have kids. How old are you? I'm older than I look. Rad Hadoz, congratulations. Was it hard for you to conceive at this age? The truth of the matter is that as women or non-binary, however you identify, anyone with reproductive parts who can give birth, essentially, the truth of the matter is that, as we age, it does become more of a challenge to get pregnant, from what I know. Again, I'm not a doctor. I am just talking from things I've heard and from what other people have told me. But that when we're born, we are born with all the eggs that we will ever have in order to give birth. And as we age, those eggs, we lose them. Our bodies evolve, deteriorate, however you want to look at it. So yes, over time, it is more of a challenge to get pregnant. For me, it was not. For me, it was literally, I don't know how to say this very politely, but it was just one time, and there you go. I didn't expect it, and yeah, it was pretty easy for me, and I'm very fortunate because there's a lot of people who are my age or younger who are having challenges with conceiving. And again, that's something that's due to age, but it's also sometimes it's not due to age. A friend of mine got pregnant recently, and she told me, we usually spend our whole lifetime trying not to get pregnant. And then you get to an age where you're ready to get pregnant, and then you realize it's not that easy for you, or, you have some challenges in the reproductive department, and that could happen at any age. And my advice for anyone out there who's interested in possibly, getting pregnant and having a baby is to check out everything going on under the hood with your doctor, just so you're prepared, because sometimes you don't know, like maybe there are issues happening down there that will limit you, or by a certain age make it way too challenging. So I think it's important to just have the conversation with your OBGYN and explore that as soon as possible if that's something you're interested in. Don't wait. So I also did get a few questions about being vegan and pregnant. Kai Brickley asked, okay, first, congratulations to you and the Fox. Second, would love to know more about vegan pregnancy. So as many of you know, I'm vegan. Yeah, I've had no issues with being vegan during my lifetime. And now being pregnant, it's totally easy for me. I will say that I've heard stories of vegan people who were craving meat and other things during pregnancy. I don't know, what they did. I'm a firm believer that if your body is craving something, it's usually a couple of things. Generally, I have found it to be that if you eat a lot of, specific foods, your body's going to keep craving those things until you get it out of your system. And maybe you don't want to get it out of your system, and that's fine too. And I also think the second part of a craving is your body is actually asking for something. Maybe in the form of meat, it could just be iron, which you can find in other sources, minerals, mineral salts, things like that. So I always think like, if I'm craving in general something salty or something that's like out of the norm for me, then I'm realizing it's probably something in my diet that I'm lacking. So I'll try and get to the bottom of whatever that food is offering and then sort of try and supplement it in the most natural way. But having said all that, I haven't had any real cravings. Actually, a couple of you guys asked me about cravings. I haven't had any cravings. I normally in real life never eat French fries or ice cream. I mean, on a very rare occasion, I'll eat ice cream. But with this pregnancy, I have been just, enjoying those perks of being like, I'm pregnant. But in reality, it's not a craving. I'm just enjoying the perks of saying I'm pregnant and using that as an excuse. I will also say that being vegan and pregnant, I've felt just as healthy and normal as I have before. So it's working out for me. And then again, that's just me. I'm no medical expert. I'm not a health practitioner. So, I wouldn't suggest that it's for everyone, but for me, it's definitely working. Which leads me to my next question. Nova Natty asked, are you going to raise your baby vegan? If so, will the diet be mostly raw? Greg and Tosh asked, will the baby be vegetarian? With a shocked emoji face. Miss Ruthie B asked, are you going to raise the baby vegan? Okay, so yes, I am. Just long story short, yes, I'm raising my baby vegan. That is based off of my own personal beliefs and understanding of food and wellness and just years and years and years of research. So yes, I do plan on that. Now, if this child does grow up and, get to an age where they're like, I want to explore or whatever, I mean, that's a different conversation. I'm not going to expect my child to uphold like my beliefs or thoughts or my opinions. So, but I do think in the very beginning of life, I'm going to be very careful of what I give the child, making sure everything is as natural, organic as possible. So this was a good question, or a couple of questions. Jenna from the blocks responded, diet and exercise routine throughout the pregnancy, question mark. Elle and Decile asked, will you be keeping your workouts the same throughout your pregnancy or switching it up? So since COVID hit and gyms shut down, I was not able to keep up my daily workout, which was essentially a very brutal schedule. And now I look back on it and was like, what was I thinking? But I basically would do the stair machine for an hour, and then I would do 15 to 30 minutes of like some sort of weight training. And it worked for me. I mean, I'm like a creature of habit. So I did it like every day and it felt supernatural to me. And then COVID hit and I took some time off because I wasn't sure how to work out. I have a rebounder, which is essentially a trampoline, and I was doing workouts on that. And then I rediscovered my jump rope, which I used to jump rope all the time when I was traveling and didn't have access to like a lot of nice gyms. So I started jumping rope again. And I've cleared it with my medical people, but I've been jumping rope for cardio, like 20 to 30 minutes a day, and doing some sort of like leg or arm workout. Okay, so El Barrio 97 asked, it's difficult for me. How has it been for you? Congrats to you. Well, thank you. So it's been pretty easy, I have to say. But everyone just keeps saying to me, every pregnancy is different and every body's different. For me, I think it's been pretty manageable, but I also happen to be someone who always tries to find a positive spin on things. I will say that breathing has been a very big challenge for me. I'm not a very strong breather, which sounds weird. I tend to like hold my breath and I don't take deep breaths. And I'm a little breathy now. But breathing was a challenge because, the baby sort of takes up space in your, abdomen and kind of pushes up towards your diaphragm and your lungs. So that was something to get used to. But in general, it's been pretty easy for me and I am enjoying it. And I feel like I'm going to miss it when it's over. So I, like a lot of people, kind of have, challenges with body image, especially being in front of the camera. And a lot of my work is just being full frontal. In the beginning, it was sort of a strange experience because and I think a lot of pregnant women feel this way, is that you sort of look bloated in the beginning. You don't really look pregnant. So it doesn't register to people that you are pregnant. It just registers that you have sort of a bigger belly. So that was kind of weird for me. But I think once I started to fill out, it was easier for me. And I think also, I personally haven't gained that much weight as opposed to a lot of other people I know, which also brought about concerns more than anything. So I think for me at least, my brain sort of shifted from having the body image issues into okay, I want to make sure that the baby has everything it needs, that I'm getting the nutrition and basically fattening up this little nugget in there so it's healthy and has no issues when it's born. Okay, well, now we have some gender questions. Brimstar12 asked, are you hoping for a boy or a girl? And Donna Till Infinity asked, congrats, I followed you since the early 2000s. Thank you. Do you want a boy or a girl? So a lot of you asked this question. I personally don't care. My husband doesn't either. We are just happy to have, a baby. If the baby's happy and healthy itself, we'll be super stoked on that too. I think that also I'm learning that maybe putting too much focus on gender is something to be aware of, especially as we're evolving and we're moving through these times. And, we want to be cognizant that, gender at birth might not necessarily shape someone's future. It might be something else. So we're just really excited about the baby. Eventually we will share the gender, but I think right now we're just sort of happy for the child. And we're also, aiming to do as much gender neutral everything for the baby. Like the idea of setting up these norms for a child before they're able to sort of work through it themselves. I don't think I want to put that pressure on a child. So yeah, we don't care either way. We're just happy for the baby. So a few of you asked about gender reveal parties. It's Crystal Christine asked, would you have a gender reveal party? Why or why not? And DJ A Star asked, are you DJing the baby shower of the gender reveal? If not, I got you. Well, girl, if I had one, you would definitely be doing it. But no, I'm not doing a gender reveal. If you're asking me my opinions on it, I think everyone's well in their right to do whatever they like, as long as it doesn't harm anyone or the environment, because a lot of wild things have been happening at gender reveals. For me personally, I find a gender reveal party kind of strange. It's excessive, number one, to me. I already feel like if you're doing a baby shower and you're doing things with family and friends, it's already, enough, in my opinion. But I also think, especially in today's day and age, as we're evolving, we're learning more and more about people who are born and, don't feel like they were born in their right gender that feels correct to them. So I kind of want to be cognizant when I think of a child in their future. Okay, now a lot of you asked about the names. PJ from the PJs asked, what are you going to name the baby? Roni Richart asked, what's the name going to be? Okay, it's a lot of these questions. I don't know. I mean, I've had some ideas. My husband has had some ideas. Because we are both very specific in what we like, we haven't really agreed to a name. And I kind of feel like, you know what? If I'm carrying this child, I should be able to name it whatever I like. But in reality, that's not fair. So we are really having some challenges with names. We have a list and we're still working through it. But if you guys have suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I will check them out. So I want a name that is super rare and super unique. Like for me, my name Vashtie was rare growing up. Like no one had the name. In fact, I hated my name in first grade and wanted to change it to Nicole or Jennifer, to the point where I wrote it all over my backpack and my pencil case and my books, hoping that people would call me that, but no one ever did. True story. And then I really, really loved my name. I just sort of realized it allowed me to be who I was. It was a rare name, and I kind of felt like a rare breed, and it sort of spoke to my creativity and to my personality. So I ended up loving my name. And I would love to give my child a name that is really just theirs. So a few of you guys asked me my feelings on birth. Haja Rose asked, do you have any anxiety around pregnancy, birth, parenthood? If so, what is it? Angela Chase asked, honestly, are you scared? 2 question marks. I think for the past 2 years, I have been mentally, emotionally, and recently physically preparing for birth. For me, I have gone into it as realistic as possible. And I also like it when people like inundate me with information about an experience. So I've asked everyone I know about their birthing experience. I've watched tons of YouTube videos on people birthing. I follow like Instagram accounts that show women birthing, but I sort of have come to the, realization that it is real, that there is pain involved, but that there's also many other emotions involved. So I'm not scared. That might sound pompous, and I might want to slap myself in the face later for having said this once I'm at that point, but I honestly don't feel scared or nervous. I won't say I feel excited, but I am eager to know and feel what's going to happen. And again, like I feel like maybe that's just my personality of being like, if I have to walk through the fire, I'm going to walk through the fire to get to the answer or find the solution or improve my life. Like I will do all of those things. But so yeah, I'm not scared. I think for me, the bigger concern is how to be the best parent that I can be. I think that we are children at one point in our lives and we have a great understanding of who we are as children. And then we grow up and we become adults and it's very Peter Pan. It's like we forget what it's like to be a child. And I don't want to be that sort of parent who forgets what it's like for a child. So I just want to be the most like, emotionally aware and like, present for my child. Like I just want to be able to learn and grow and not be a figure of authority in the sense that, the child is in fear of. My childhood was not necessarily a childhood I would ever want for another child. And as much as I've made amends with it and know that it has helped me grow and it has helped me become the person I am today, I do think that avoiding any sort of physical pain and trauma and emotional abuse, like all of those things, like I don't want my child to experience. Like definitely not through me, not through my husband or any family member or, any caretaker or a stranger. So I just want to make sure that the kid is all right. That's basically my concern, I think. So a lot of you also asked if I plan on giving birth in a hospital or with a midwife at home. Ipalang Motuba asked, congratulations, Vashtie. Thank you. Do you know if you'll have a natural birth? I Norman 88 asked, are you going to have a home birth? And so on. So basically, I think for me, I've always considered or wanted a home birth. I've done a lot of research on the topic. And for me personally, I've always liked the idea of, doing something that is much more attuned to my own nature. but also, learning the history of birthing in hospitals. I've watched a few documentaries. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. But like I watched The Business of Being Born when it came out a while ago. It was a documentary that Ricky Lake had done about, like giving birth in a hospital. But it was not in a way that was like damning that choice. And I don't damn that choice for anyone. I would prefer for myself to give birth at home in familiar settings. What I've learned throughout my life, but also recently about pregnancy and childbirth, is that we're more animalistic and primal than we really think we are. Like, yes, we wear clothes and we shave and we put deodorant on, but at the end of the day, we're still so animalistic. And the act of giving birth, like, we sort of go back to our like animal instincts. And your body has to feel safe, your body has to feel familiar in like the space that it's in. And you know obviously you can give birth in a hospital, in a car, anywhere, but for me, the idea of creating a setting that is familiar to me and safe is definitely at home, especially now with with COVID, and knowing that hospitals are kind of filled with a lot of people who are sick and that sort of thing. So for me, I felt like it made the most sense to do it at home. um, and even having known that, I did explore talking to doctors and hospitals, but I think ultimately for me it was having a midwife and doula team. So I will say that as much as I am planning this home birth, it could potentially become a transfer where I end up at a hospital anyway. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully I can just have my home birth. And some of you also asked if I would have a midwife or a doula. I specifically have a midwife team of 2 midwives and a doula. So I know that for some people, maybe it's a doula and a doctor, or they have 1 midwife and 1 doula. But I have 2 midwives and a doula, and I'm very excited about them because they are very warm and loving and intelligent and super informational, and I'm learning so much through them. So yeah. Okay, I got some weird questions, and maybe they're not weird, but Guyanese Unruly asked, "Who is the father?" And it's not just one question. Blue Cheese 305 said, "Congratulations on the pregnancy. Who is the father?" Okay, now if you follow me, and I hope that you do, especially on the gram, you would know who the father is. And maybe you don't. So maybe this question is fair for you to have asked. But at the same time, I'm also like, if you had just looked at my Instagram, you would probably have put it together that the person that I married could potentially be the father. I mean, unless it's a Maury moment and there's going to be some news coming out later, no. But thank you for your questions. A lot of you asked about my feelings on motherhood. Probably have more fears around motherhood because, I realize that, parents are human. And when I realized that as a young person, it really was a shocking thought to me to just realize that your parents aren't superhuman. They're regular people. They make mistakes. They have the same emotions you have, even if they've hid them from you, like my parents did. And I have so many concerns about wanting to create a safe space. And I want to honor, this child's thoughts and ideas and emotions and make sure that I just want them to feel uplifted and loved and happy, but I just want to do my best. And that sometimes freaks me out. Okay, so a lot of you have asked me about my emotional state during COVID. In general, I think it's safe to say that we are all going through it during COVID. I mean, and some of us more than others because, a lot of people have been directly impacted or affected. And I think that for me, the experience in general has been a roller coaster of emotions. But mostly, I have been living in a state of appreciation for having a home, having food, knowing that it could be way worse because it is way worse for a lot of other people. So I have focused my attention And I have to actively do this. I'm not just like walking around with like a halo and wings. I'm like, girl, let's get it together. Let's meditate. Let's focus on the positive. So it's a daily practice for me. But I realize that a lot of people aren't as fortunate. So I tend to want to stay in the state of appreciation and be thankful and grateful for everything that I have, even if it's not as much as other people. And having said that, my scope of work has completely disappeared. So I'm also not in a position of like everything's great and everything's like perfect for me right now. As a lot of you know, I DJ, and that's been the majority of my work. DJing constantly all over the world, daytime, nighttime, you name it, being in front of people, being at events, and all of that work is gone. So for me, as much as I'm living in a state of appreciation, I'm also just giving you the backstory that, you know, things are definitely challenging for me. And I'm making it work and I'm figuring it out. And that's really great for me. Also, I'm the kind of personality that likes to be alone. So for me, not seeing people and seeing my friends or hanging out and being social has been amazing. And I know a lot of you can identify with this. A lot of you are introverts naturally, even if you are social butterflies at times. Being at home alone is always something that I've preferred to do. If I can find ways to cancel plans, I'm that girl. I think the most difficult part of COVID and being pregnant is that I have no choice. Like, I can't see family or friends during this wonderful, blessed time of being pregnant. So, my parents haven't seen me pregnant, my sister, you know, I have not had the experience of, which I've always dreamed that being pregnant, I would be spoiled by, you know, family and friends with like food and massages and all that. So I haven't had my dream of what I thought pregnancy could be like in normal times. Lady Danny asked, will you breastfeed? And the answer is yes, if I can, if the baby latches. There's so many elements to it. But if I can make it happen, it's going down. I do believe in breastfeeding if you can do it, as opposed to formula. You know, the milk from the mother is like the healthiest, best thing of all time. It's like literal gold for the baby. So yes, I plan on it and I'm hoping it works out. A lot of you asked about my hair. Your curls are back and by popular demand. Thank you, Sepia Dreams. It's Sis said your hair is so nice. Shan Britt said, what curly hair products do you use? Let me just say this. Okay, my hair has been thriving. And apparently in pregnancy, your hair thrives. There's so much blood flow in your body that apparently your hair grows. And there's something else that happens where your hair naturally isn't shedding like it used to. Like, you know, like if you brush your hair comes out. Like if I brush or comb my hair, like 2 or 3 strands come out ever. And when I used to brush my hair before pregnancy, it was like a ton of hair would come out. It was just sort of the norm. So now my hair is thicker, but not really thicker. It's just not shedding. And my curls are popping. I also think it's because 1, pregnancy for sure, but 2, because I haven't had my hair done, which means I haven't had heat on my hair. As some of you may know, when I would DJ or go to events or do any kind of work, I would have my hair blown out. And I think that just taking a break from the heat has helped my hair like get thicker, but also grow. It's like growing, okay? And I hope it stays. Who knows? Some people have said that their hair stays the same after pregnancy, and some people say that like you'll shed all the hair that you hadn't shed during pregnancy. So we'll see. For those of you who want to know about the products that I've been using in my hair, I've been actually testing out 2 new products. One is the Bounce Curl Light Hold Creme Gel. And I also used a little bit of their Moisture Balance Leave-In Conditioner. I also use a brand called Inner Sense. I use their Sweet Spirit Leave-In Conditioner. Also mix it in with their I Create Lift Volumizing Foam. And it's really just been doing my hair justice. Mrs. A. Taylor asked, people seem to know almost 6 weeks ago. How? Like how? Like, I want to know how, because 6 weeks ago, I certainly did not look very pregnant at all. Like, I saw people, they had no idea I was pregnant. If did not mention it, people would not have known. And I post a couple of photos on Instagram and read comments like, oh, I think we're expecting an announcement soon, or it looks like someone's pregnant, someone has a baby bump. And I'm like, how? Even friends and family who saw that photo that I hadn't told yet had no idea. I would love to know the answer to that question. If any of you would like to respond in the comment section below, please let me know how you might have known. I know some of you said that you thought it was because I wasn't posting as much, but the reason why I wasn't posting as much is because, wanting to be respectful of everything that was going on in the world, I decided to kind of take a breather from posting. I especially did not want to post things that were like selfies and like fashion shoots. Like, I wanted to just be like, okay, what can I do? How can I be of service and take a step back from, social media? So that's really why I wasn't posting, not because I was pregnant, but anyway. Okay, so the top questions were basically how far along I was and when I was due, which is basically the same question. And the answer is that I'm pretty far along. So far along. The next most asked question was, when can we see the baby bump? I'm about to show you right now. Don't kill me because I'm far along. Okay. I want to say thank you to you guys for asking me all your questions, for being honest with me and open with me and sharing your journeys. A lot of you are pregnant, which is exciting. So thank you for letting me know. I hope we can grow together in this new chapter also. And yeah, that's all. Thank you guys for watching.